The Cyprus Ministry of Education and Culture has formed a small unit which is responsible for the implementation of 4 projects which are funded 50% by the European Social Fund, ESF, and the remaining 50% by national funds. The ESF is one of 4 structural funds of the European Union. Created in 1957, the ESF is the European Union's main source of financial support for efforts to develop employability and human resources. It helps member states combat unemployment, prevent people from dropping out of the labour market, and promote training to make Europe's workforce and companies better equipped to face new global challenges. The ESF also aims to achieve equality among men and women and to promote economic and social cohesion. The ESF uses 2 methods to combat unemployment: training and the creation of new jobs. With training, the risk of losing one's job is reduced. New jobs are created by funding new projects. How does one risk losing his or her job? The introduction of new technology can create new jobs, but it can also be the cause of job losses. Listen to the story of Mike. Mike was a designer draftsman. He worked in a large consulting firm which specialized in the design of large steel suspended bridges. With a pencil and a simple calculator, he could design the portions of a multi-lane bridge with all the necessary detail for the construction of the bridge. Mike was most probably one of the best designers of his kind, since he used to design then the largest suspension bridges in the world. Mike is today unemployed because he never managed to move from the conventional method of drawing board design to the modern computer-aided design method. The loss of a very able worker could have been prevented with the right training. Perhaps teachers in the public education sector are not in danger of losing their jobs as easily as designers, but the introduction of new technology in schools is so rapid that soon the conventional way of teaching with books, chalk and blackboard will be a thing of the past. The classrooms will be equipped with computers, interactive whiteboards, audio-visual systems, cameras, etc. The class will be able to be in direct communication with other classes in other schools anywhere in the world, to have access to information from digital libraries, educational institutions, government departments and other organizations. Students, parents and teachers will be able to use the system 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, from any part of the world, provided they have access to the Internet. No teacher will be able to avoid the use of new technology. To introduce the new ICT technologies in the public schools, the Ministry of Education and Culture has designed a system in which all the public schools in Cyprus will be connected in a network called the intranet. The schools in the intranet will also be connected to the rest of the world via the Internet. The construction, networking, hardware and equipment for this system is funded by national funds. However, the ESF is funding the software needed for the system. The Ministry of Education and Culture, with the co-funding of the ESF, is implementing 4 projects which are grouped under 2 measures. Measure 2.1 is undertaken by the Cyprus Pedagogical Institute, which is attached to the Ministry of Education and Culture and is responsible for teacher training. Various programs, starting with the training of teachers for basic computer skills to more advanced training for teachers and other professionals who will be involved in the introduction of new technologies in schools, are in progress. 3 projects have been designed under Measure 2.2 for the improvement and strengthening of the secondary general and secondary technical and vocational education. More specifically, under Measure 2.2, 3 projects are being implemented. 1. The introduction of new technologies in the learning and teaching process. 2. The reorganization of the technical and vocational education. And 3. The improvement of the apprenticeship scheme. The Ministry of Education and Culture, through the ESF, has published tenders and signed contracts for the purchase of a learning management system, LMS, for a career guidance system, for educational software, and for studies for the reorganization of the technical and vocational education and for the apprenticeship scheme. All the above-mentioned projects were proposed under the 2004-2006 programming period and will be completed by 2008. The 2-year margin is allowed by the ESF. In the next 2 years, there is provision to install educational content in the LMS, to revise the curriculum, and to test the introduction of new technologies in pilot applications before the final introduction for the whole of the educational system of Cyprus. The learning management system will be implemented initially in 7 schools throughout Cyprus, but will be expanded in the next 2 years to cover the whole of Cyprus. Teachers, students and parents will have access to the system. The LMS will allow the preparation of lessons using tools built in the system or other installed tools. The system will support multimedia applications, synchronous and asynchronous communication, discussion forums, file sharing, electronic mail, etc. In this slide, you can see the structure of the bodies involved in the design and implementation of ESF projects in Cyprus. The managing authority is assigned by the member states, and in the case of Cyprus, the Planning Bureau, a branch of the Ministry of Finance, has been assigned. A department within the Ministry of Labour and Social Insurance was appointed as the intermediate body for the ESF. The duties and responsibilities of the intermediate body include the process of the selection of projects, the monitoring of the physical and financial progress of the projects, and the exercise of control. They also include the safeguarding of compatibility and conformity with the national and community policies that concern competition, public procurement, environment, gender equality, employment, and publicity and information. The design of a project starts with a proposal which addresses a real need for the organization. A budget allocation and analysis follows. A project may include studies, the buying of services, software, management and administration costs, and publicity costs. Project monitoring is needed to establish the physical and financial progress of a project, and this may be affected by monthly and quarterly spending reports and budget spending estimates and projections. From time to time, budget updates may be necessary.